Hey all, Shu here, and I wanted to make a series where I go over some high-level Mythic Plus pulls and strategies that you can pull off in your groups. So let's get started. For this week, I want to focus on pulling trash with Tormentors, which are the new seasonal affix mobs that replaced Prideful. Tormentors aren't like Prides. In a lot of instances, pulling trash with a Tormentor is a massive time save and extremely safe to do. We'll go over some extremely safe and some extremely spicy pulls today. Our first pull is from a 24 The Other Side on Tyrannical. The pull gets pretty rinsed with Lust on Tyran, and should be doable on Fort as well. Here are the key things you want to focus on for this pull. The first thing is pulling the farthest mobs first. Watch how our tank pulls the Incinerator first, as this limits the damage he takes and allows us to control exactly where the end position of the pull will be. Make sure you're not baiting the fire onto the urn as well, that's very important. The second thing you want to focus on is urn once everything's together. The third thing you want to focus on for this pull is a solid CC rotation. What we do is we instantly trees plus beam out of the urn stun, followed by solo interrupts. The only important interrupts in this pack are Inferno on the Incinerator, which the tank and one melee can handle, and Shadow Core, which range can rotate on. If you have a mage, then this pull is especially easy as they can spell steal every Death's Embrace from the Death Speaker. The important mobs to focus on in this pack are the Incinerator and the Death Speaker. If you have a Boomkin in your group, then you'll want them to focus down the Incinerator while maintaining AoE and having the rest of your group AoE down everything else. The majority of this pack dies in about 40 seconds, which is no time at all. The rest of that is just dodge, 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 Lotus Swirlies. Another thing to note is that I'm not sure if this pull is doable with Varuth in this spot, simply because of all the Lotuses that you have to dodge. This might end up being a Incinerator only pull, but we can make that up later in the dungeon with different pulls as well. Next up is a less spicy pull. It's upstairs in Necrotic Wake after a Marth. Whether it's Soggy's or Oros Coldheart, you can pull the Crafter Creation 2-pack into the Tormentor here. This is an extra time save because the Crafter can be used to throw axes at the Tormentor. All you need to do is stand opposite of the Crafter pack on pull and you won't have to do much movement. This is especially important for Oros pulls because your movement speed will be reduced. Even if the Crafter throw cleaves go into the creation, that's okay because that's just free damage into the pull and you're essentially turning two pulls into one pull. Usually you do this pull after you've done the top left and top right packs in the room when everybody doesn't have their cooldowns, and it's a good way for everybody's cooldowns to recharge while also dealing extra damage to a pack with a Crafter. Our last pull is especially free, and it is in Plaguefall. First off, this has nothing to do with the pull, but Inky Black in Plaguefall is just so good. Second, the pull is just giga free. Double Slime and Double Defender into Oros or Sagadon is just a perfect way to get an extra 3% while doing a time-consuming Torment. This pull follows the same principles we mentioned earlier, and all you need to do is have a Typhoon, Stun, Incap, or any sort of CC to interrupt the shields that the defenders cast. Plaguefall, especially as a dungeon where running around with the slow on the last boss can be extremely problematic for your group, so anywhere where you can group two pulls together into something like Oros would just really help your group time the key if you're a little tight, even though it's a generous timer overall. Thank you everyone for watching. I would love to emphasize more entry-level and high-end Mythic Plus content, so let me know if that interests you. And if you have any ideas for videos that you may have, just let me know. See ya!